Hey all, and welcome back to Kingdom Hearts Final Mix. We dealt with a classic last time, well, a couple of parts ago. I would say Nightmare Before Christmas is a classic, but we're splitting hairs here. It's more modern than Pinocchio. Today, though, we are returning to the Disney Renaissance for a pretty good film. I don't know if I'd call it like one of my favourites. You know, Hunchback and Hercules are in my top three, but The Little Mermaid is nothing to sniff at when it comes to success and whatnot.
Very successful. The beginning of the Disney Renaissance actually brought them back. The last hit they had was in 1977, which was like 15 years before this.
Jeez.
So definitely a big break for Disney Animation to come back on board to, you know, actually do what they wanted. And if you haven't noticed, we have a much faster gummy ship now because I picked up that Haste 2 gummy that I mentioned before. So we are zooming through here.
It looks pretty nice to boot. That's all I have to say. I am a shallow man. I look at thing. Is it pretty? I say good.
A little more aesthetically pleasing than the first Haste gummy that had like all the bolts sticking out of it and everything. This one looks like a, you know, normal turbine that you would find on something, but that's enough for the gummy ship stuff.
Indeed. Wow, it zoomed through that. That's the Haste gummy for you, I suppose. Look at this. A land of underwaterness. What are you going to do, Donald? You going to turn us into fish? Go underwater, turn Sora into a fish? Yes, I think so. Why am I acting like this? I played this game like, what, 14 years ago?
Yeah, and a lot more than 14 times.
Indeedy so, mate.
It would be funny if we did get turned into something else, though. Sora, as you can see here, gets turned into something of a merman. He's kind of got a dolphin-like bottom. It's not quite, you know, what a merman would have, as we see, but, you know, I guess it's something unique to him.
Come on, Sebastian.
Yeah, we got the legendary Jodie Benson back as Ariel. I think that's Kevin Michael Richardson as Sebastian. I don't know who plays Flounder, though.
It is Kevin Michael Richardson. Flounder is played by Eli Lennox. Don't think that was the original voice actor from the film, but,
Right, Flounder?
you know, he's a pretty minor part in the game, so it's okay.
Yeah, that's fair. Wow. The Little Mermaid actually has a 7.6 out of 10 on IMDb. I figured it would be higher.
Huh, I feel like, and this is reflecting a lot of my opinion on the film, there's a few parts that kind of drag on rather longer than they should, especially the bit where Sebastian gets captured by the chef.
Oh, yeah.
And he's chasing him around. I remember we actually originally covered The Little Mermaid for the first Disney-thon years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Yumi and Digi were all very critical of it, probably more so, or maybe we might have chosen that over something else. I think I'm misremembering, but we didn't have a great time with it, let's say.
Really? Huh.
I think we were probably replacing something else that we were very critical of, that might have been Treasure Planet, actually.
Oh,
Digi loves that movie, and we were both kind of lukewarm on it, and so I think all of us were a bit miffed that we were doing The Little Mermaid in replacement, but I think it still turned out pretty well. It's not one of my favorites, though. Love the music. The characters are pretty cool. I can't say much for the animation, because it's been so long since I've seen it, but, you know, it's Disney animation. It's always going to be pretty crisp, especially during the Renaissance.
For sure, for sure. And there was that one bit in the movie where Ariel stops to give a swimming tutorial to another friend of hers. Yeah, I can kind of see what you're talking about with the pacing issues now.
Atlantica, much like the Disney Renaissance, is not one of my favorite worlds in this game because you're underwater and therefore a lot of your combat potential is severely limited. Sora can't use any limits like Sonic Blade and stuff like that. Fortunately, magic is really, really good, especially since we're still using Spellbinder here.
Don't expect Eric to turn up. I think he only came into Kingdom Hearts in the second game, is that right?
Yeah, he did. The second game more accurately reflects the movie, which I think is fine. The music that the Kingdom Hearts 2 version has aside. A little bit about Prince Eric that I found out. Jim Carrey actually originally auditioned for the role of Prince Eric, which would have made a very different film compared to what we actually ended up getting.
Do you know who voiced him instead, Spur?
No, I do not, actually.
Christopher Daniel Barnes, the voice of 90s Spider-Man.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I wouldn't recognize that, because I don't think I watched very much of that, to be honest.
Ursula, I'll chase you to the ends of the earth! So yeah, the swimming controls, point of contention with Atlantica's inclusion, I think, because you're so used to moving one way, and then you have to deal with like elevation and whatnot. It can take a little bit to get used to.
I think as far as the swimming controls go, it controls better here than it does in KH2, but you spend so little time worrying about it in KH2 that most people don't care.
Yeah.
Most of Atlantica in 2 is just the music minigame. You don't have to fight anything, so it's not that big of a problem in that game. Unless you're going around looking for the puzzle pieces like I did.
And in Chain of Memories, they don't even bother with this sort of thing. It's just Sora is just walking around in those isometric rooms, and he's like, "Oh, Donald, how are we breathing underwater?" And Donald's like, "It's magic, don't worry about it."
For real, though. Castle Oblivion be kinda nuts.
It sure do be like that.
These enemies, I think they're called sea neons, could be really annoying. They're like... I feel like they're more resistant to physical damage than they are to magic, so you're going to see me using a lot of magic here. Again, physical attacks are pretty limited because you can't use limits. You're basically stuck with really slow combos, because normally you would want to use air combos to hit stuff in this game because they're faster.
Yeah.
Everything in this game is a water combo, I guess, and water combat didn't get good in this series until KH3.
No, not really. Oh man, I forgot all about the fact you could, like, spin the Keyblade to zip zoom and whatnot.
Some unique Heartless there that shows up. Those, if you use stop on them, will spawn the pink Agaricus, which is one of the Final Mix exclusive Heartless, and drop some rare synthesis items that you need for a lot of stuff. It's basically impossible to actually get the drop here in Atlantica, because what happens is once the pink Agaricus shows up, you need to cast stop on it, and then hit it approximately 80 times before stop runs out. And anytime your party members hit also detracts a hit, and there's just not really a good way to do that number of hits here in Atlantica. Fortunately, one also appears in Deep Jungle, so much easier to take care of that there if you're actually looking for the items.
I don't like the sound of anything you just said, Spar, to be honest. Maybe this is why I don't really connect with Final Mix content.
A lot of the stuff that was added for KH1, at least, was the synthesis stuff and a couple cutscenes. 2 Final Mix adds a lot more to the combat by adding in new abilities and an extra drive form and stuff like that. So it's a lot easier to connect with that. 1 doesn't really add that much. There's a couple new abilities here and there, but for the most part, you're still doing kind of the same thing.
Ariel, when will you listen? It's dangerous out there.
Let's see, we've got King Triton here, same voice as the movie, Kenneth Mars.
I was surprised to see that, bringing back Kenneth Mars for this. Not that I know much of him, but it's always nice when they bring back the original voice actors for stuff like this. I guess he was just really passionate about this character, a lot like James Woods is.
Even though he was passionate for a paycheck, which I don't begrudge him. He's a working guy, you know?
I mean, if there's anything that's relatable, it's definitely one to get paid, right?
What's that?
Don't disclose things. There is no such thing as a Goofy. This thing cannot exist.
Ariel, not another word.
I think we mentioned this in a previous part, that King Triton's knowledge of the Keyblade and the Keyhole is something that's never brought up again in the series, and it's really odd that they didn't touch on it because they had ample opportunity. I understand probably his reluctance to reveal the Keyhole, because there's a lot of bad things that can happen if someone with bad intentions gets to it. And I think he knows someone with bad intentions lurking around the corner here in the depths of the sea.
Well, I mean, she might be literally right around the corner for all we know.
But I must admit, now I'm quite curious about this keyhole.
I want to just swim into it, man. Go across the space ocean, you know what I'm saying?
Have you anything to report?
Just as you suspected, Your Majesty. They seem to be coming
There's
from
Ursula. She
I
is
knew it.
spawning the Heartless somehow. She has the power to control the Heartless, or at least create them, which Oogie Boogie did not.
Yeah, well,
It really seems like Maleficent doesn't trust Oogie, which is kind of understandable, I'm not gonna lie.
he's a fucking burlap sack filled with bugs, mate, in the shape of a man.
Did I know?
I mean, if there's anything that can inspire fear in someone, then it's definitely that.
I guess, but have you seen Ursula crawling in Kingdom Hearts 2? That shit is terrifying.
Yeah, I suppose that's true as well. Hey Tom,
Yes.
did you know that there is an out-of-bounds clip that can be performed in Atlantica?
Ooh, spicy. You gotta show it off?
No, because I don't know how to do it specifically, but it's something that's done in speedruns whenever they do Atlantica, as one would expect. What happens is, during this part right here, when you're entering this area, the dolphin that you need to grab onto as part of the world's mechanics, I guess, spawns in from out of bounds, basically, before you can actually grab it normally, and you grab onto it while it's still out of bounds and then let go immediately. And so Sora and company are stuck out of bounds. And so, because you're still swimming around, you can just kind of move around freely. You're not really limited by the map anymore. And what happens is you go down to a little path off to the side that leads to the sunken ship that we're heading to later, and it creates a quick shortcut so you don't have to traverse the really confusing pathways and tunnels that are in Atlantica, and it makes it a lot better. Unfortunately, Atlantica is actually still pretty slow, so it's not done in an 80% run, which is kind of sad to see.
It's always nice to hear Spa just talk at length about speedruns. It takes me back to the MBM playthroughs of yore, so it does.
I do have a decent bit of knowledge in KH1 runs because I watch some people run them quite often. One of my favorite streamers that we actually rated on the stream the other day after we got done playing FF12 Zodiac Age. So hope people have been enjoying that and stuff like that. So I'm picking up torn pages and a few other items here. Not sure how Ariel got, some of this stuff, I'm not gonna lie. I guess it floated down to the sea whenever it spawned into the world.
That must be one soggy page at this point. I'm surprised you can read anything on it.
I guess that's the magic of Winnie the Pooh's book, which we'll be getting to here in a few parts. Looking forward to that one because the minigames of KH1 suck.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's going to be one of the longest parts in this playthrough.
Triton, my old friend.
I know you're excited for it.
Oh, sort of. That laugh didn't match up with the default face there. Anywho, Ursula, played by Pat Carroll. I didn't need no stinking IMDb for that one. You may know her as John's grandma, I think, in the Garfield cartoons.
Huh, okay. I mean, I definitely know her as Ursula. I can't say I remember much about the Garfield cartoons, despite spending a lot of time watching them when I was younger. Yeah, it's been so long that I couldn't honestly tell you much about those at all.
But yeah, she's fantastic. Great singer. Let's have a look here. What has Pat Carroll done? I believe she's still with us. Yeah, she is 94.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. Yeah, good on her.
Known for voicing Ursula in The Little Mermaid, ABC's Laverne and Shirley, NBC's ER, and she is an Emmy, Drama Desk, and Grammy Award winner, and a Tony Award nominee.
Oh, wow, yeah, she's had a pretty nice career. So what we need to do now is find the dolphin. As you can see, it's swimming around over there, but we can't grab onto it while there are enemies around, so I gotta be very careful in what I do to actually grab onto it at the right time. And what the dolphin's going to do is carry us through these rapids here that we can't swim through normally to actually get us to the sunken ship that I mentioned earlier. If we had done the out of bounds, we could have just made a quick shortcut here.
If only we had done the blessed out of bounds, but alas, here we are now. I remember this area, or an area somewhat similar to it, in a World of Illusion, actually, when you go under the sea.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I don't know much about those games. I remember your stream of the 3DS one many, many years ago. There's actually a hidden compartment down here.
What the fuck?
Under the ship. Yep, more things that you didn't know about KH-1.
How about that shit? The game you're referring to is Power of Illusion, I believe.
Right, yeah. That one was sort of a pseudo-sequel to Epic Mickey, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I'd recommend it. Yeah, that's right, you walk away.
Be honest, Tom, did you get scared by the shark your first time playing this?
I guess.
Who can remember that far back, right? Pretty sure I got scared my first time. Of course, you know, any other times that I played this, I knew it was coming. Probably still got a little bit of heart rate increase just from knowing it's going to happen, but I don't think it ever really fully scared me again.
Oh man, we should take advantage of those heart rate monitors they have for Twitch streams and just put it in the LP. So as it's going, you can see when we get scared and why.
Well, I'm going to be honest, while we're recording the commentary for this, my heart rate's probably always going to be elevated because I do get nervous, but that's another thing altogether.
Indeedy so, mate. So that's a shark, not really what you'd call a mini-boss. It's more like one of those big old apes in Xenoblade that just like walking around and whatnot. Take it down, free EXP.
And a few items, and here's the shortcut path that we opened. If I can actually get to the right spot, there we are. Knocks that chest out of the way, and now we have a quick path. And you can actually open this chest for a free item.
What the I mean, it makes sense, it's a treasure chest.
But it's so weird because it looks different, right? You wouldn't expect it.
Thing not saying, be confused. There we go, you just put the thing in the thing, bada bing.
Nothing happens, actually, just by putting it there. It feels like something should happen, though.
Have you been a teenager in here again? How dare you?
I think Ariel's design was based on the actress Alyssa Milano, who was pretty popular at the time and known for being, you know, a very attractive actress in Hollywood. So I guess that's what they were going for with her.
Oh, here comes the line.
Young man, you're not from another ocean. You're from another world.
Got him.
Huh?
Yes, many worlds actually we've been to. Oh wait, we're not supposed to tell you that.
Well, I mean, we're from islands. That's adjacent to the ocean.
Ariel, but you can't fool me. You don't know your dorsal fin from your tail. As the key bearer, you must already know one must not meddle in the affairs of other worlds.
Man, what an interesting subplot. Would have been great to cover that, Namora.
Yeah, like one of the few things that I can honestly say I really wish they had covered. There's a lot of plot lines that get covered in Kingdom Hearts that I feel like they really could have avoided or didn't need answered. This is something that is very interesting to me and I wish was answered.
Yeah, they say in Missing Link, the upcoming phone game, they're gonna like answer all the mysteries, so who knows? They're reusing worlds, maybe we'll go back under the sea.
Could be. I'm actually pretty excited for that to see what it's going to be like. I'm hoping it actually releases in the West and we don't get a watered-down version like what happened with Kai.
That would be nice. That would be nice. Hopefully my phone can run it.
Yeah, that'd be good.
There was something we could do.
The eels, I think they are, Flotsam and Jetsam, voiced by Corey Burton, of course, who does a lot of work for Kingdom Hearts and Disney in general.
Interesting.
He would surely help you.
I actually forget who voices them in the original film. I did not put that on my notes, unfortunately.
Paddy Edwards, it says here, whose name does not ring a bell.
My dear, you're Ursula.
I also enter a room to conduct nefarious deeds in a big fart cloud.
Others is what I live for.
I mean, I guess it's ink. She's meant to be an octopus of some kind.
Spa. I know what it is, okay? Just making it an LP funsy. Or attempting to.
I mean, that's just me, dude. You know, I gotta play the straight man.
I guess. Wait, does that mean I'm the fool?
I wouldn't call you the fool, you're the funny man.
Oh, cheer up, sweetie.
I think both of us are the straight man in our dynamic.
The most boring Let's Plays ever created.
Carefully.
I mean, we figured this out years ago in the commentaries that we did for, like, Mario Sunshine, that we both have senses of humor, but they don't, like... We're not real great at being, like, the funny guy, like Helldragon is, or whatever.
Yeah. Alas, not all of us can be a Helldragon, but that's a story for another time. Why am I so out of breath today? I haven't done anything.
You've been playing a lot of Xenoblade Chronicles 2 lately, in the past day or two.
Yeah, but that's just me sitting down playing a game. I mean, granted, the bit I got to was high, but still. Steal that trident, Ariel, do it!
She is clipping through that column back there.
The worlds you long for.
Oh, thank God he just left it.
For real, like, why did he just leave it? Where is Triton right now? Is he still on the way back to the palace?
He's having a big old fish shit in the background, right?
Jesus.
Yeah, there you go. Eat gravity underwater. Speaking of, the pressure down here must be immense. These guys must be really strong physically.
I feel like we're not very far from the surface, because you can look up and see it. At least in, like, the boss area. I don't know that we're very far from it, actually.
Yes, I've got it. The MacGuffin is mine.
At last, and I couldn't have done it without your
Oh, that shit was wicked, bro.
It's too bad we couldn't see that fight on the screen.
Didn't have the budget. Once again, they went out of budget and then immediately got more.
Daddy's orders. Oh, yes. We had a deal, didn't we?
Alright, Ariel, you ready to get some legs?
Oh, yeah.
World of the Heartless.
We cannot find the keyhole.
Where is that keyhole? Where is it?
Looking in the palace is definitely the smart place to go for it. Most of them are in, like, really important places in each world, so the palace makes sense. It just so happens that Triton was a little bit smarter this time.
You know how in KH3 they say Scarlet Adkylum is the nexus from which all worlds spring, and there's like a load of different like islands that are connected? It seems like every world that sprung off seems to have a castle of sorts, so maybe one went underwater?
Wait.
Huh, that's an interesting way to look at it, actually. Never really thought about that much.
Stop Ursula.
They're just basically seeds, are these worlds.
I'm right behind you.
Yeah. I haven't thought much about the lore that really KH3 adds, despite it being pretty interesting. Sorry, Donald, you're just kind of not good compared to Ariel in this world.
Oh, thank God he knew about the cauldron.
Actually, really good information, because young me, who did not pay attention to that line, did not know how to do the mini-boss that's coming up next.
It's a little bit annoying. I can't really think of a different way to describe it. It's a little bit annoying.
Yeah, you definitely gotta know what you're doing for it. Unfortunately, we gotta get there first, and it takes a little bit. Past the sunken ship, actually, which is great because we got that shortcut that we made. If we didn't get the shortcut, we'd have to find the dolphin again and do all of that, which would take, like, I don't know, 10 minutes longer. And this is already a pretty long world, so it's a good thing we found the shortcut.
It says a lot when you describe it as long, but it's only like 35 minutes. Granted, this is streamlined because Spawn knows what he's doing. If you were playing it, would probably, like, play for the first time. It'd probably be, like, double that.
Yeah, for sure. I think on a first trip, all of these worlds definitely take an hour pretty easily. Some even more than that, I would say. Like Deep Jungle on a first playthrough is going to take you an extremely long time to figure out where you need to go.
Alright, here we go. A little switch here, isn't it? Huh?
Unfortunately, the shark is back. And so the Switch somehow knows that we need to be taking care of that first.
Oh my god.
I don't know why we have to fight this thing twice. Maybe you can run away from it the first time? Maybe it doesn't always spawn here the second time? I'm not actually sure. I'm gonna be completely honest, I don't know how the shark works.
This thing seemed a lot scarier back on a CRTV, when it was like coming out of the darkness.
It kind of blends in with the colors as well, which, I mean, I guess is just how biology works for some sea creatures, but I can imagine the colors bleeding together on like an old TV in 480p or whatever as well.
Really?
It helps that I was also pretty over-leveled for it, so if you're a lot weaker, that fight's actually very, very dangerous.
I believe there is a save point off one of these paths here.
Yep, the other path has a save point with a couple extra items as well, but I feel like I'm in good enough shape. I can go take down Ursula. Again, I know what I'm doing as far as the boss fight goes, so it shouldn't be that much of a problem.
Ah, these things. They're the creatures that, in the actual movie, Ursula turned Triton into in exchange for saving Ariel.
There's no telling how many contracts she's signed and probably, manipulated people into over the years.
Your time has come!
Watch this, walks forward a little bit, or swims forward a little bit, looks a bit angry. Terrified.
And now she's happy again.
Alright, mate, take it away. How do we deal with Ursula?
As soon as she throws a potion into her cauldron, hit it with magic 8 times. That's it.
It seemed like a lot back in the day, but 8 is a big number, to be fair, especially when dealing with magic.
Yeah, a lot of people are probably going to be going with strength builds because, magic, you kind of have to understand it a little bit. Instead of just throwing it out everywhere. I think magic's probably easier to get in KH1 than it is in some of the others, but a lot of people are going to be going with strength builds, probably using Pumpkin King here, so they're not going to have that +2 MP to be able to throw out, a whole bunch of magic over and over.
Man, she is spinning like a Beyblade.
And laughing her head off in the process.
Also like a Beyblade.
Now, there's something that people probably don't know. If you come back to this room after beating that clam or shell that's up in the corner, there's actually some kind of sea urchin or something right next to it, and if you hit it, it'll explode, and I think it drops like an elixir or something.
Oh.
There's just so many secret things like that where you can find, rare items and stuff like that. I think there's also an area where you can hit one of those exploding sea urchins to break open a path, a wall, in like the Undersea Gorge, I want to say, near where we spawned into the world. Just, another quick path to get back to the rooms that you might need to go through for whatever reason.
Alright, this should do it.
I think the fireballs that get sent out by the cauldron might also hurt her. I think no matter how much damage you do, stunning her with the cauldron 3 times always finishes the fight. I might be very wrong on that, so someone in the comments might need to correct me. But I'm pretty sure no matter what, if you do it 3 times and are hitting her when she's stunned, you'll probably finish the fight by the time you get to the 3rd one.
Hell yeah, mermaid cake. Now we don't need a dolphin to swim through the currents.
We swim much faster as well, which makes getting around this world that much better, to be honest.
High jump, useless in this world. Mermaid kick, that's where it's at.
Right. Sadly, there's not really any other underwater areas in this game, aside from, at the very end in the final world, but that's just kind of a copy of Atlantica anyway.
Well, it could be like Sonic and Knuckles, where you can get, like, a bubble shield, but there's no water sections at all.
Huh, that is strange, actually, yeah.
Which is especially weird, because free is a ton of them.
Huh, yeah.
Yeah. Alright, I think we put it off long enough, now we can talk about the sequels and whatnot.
The Little Mermaid sequels that I don't know anything about?
Yes, there is the sequel released in 2000, focusing on Ariel's daughter, Melody. That one's pretty mid. And then, for some reason, 8 years later, in 2008, they released a prequel.
I think that covers Ariel's mom?
Yeah.
If I remember correctly? Yeah, I do remember reading about that, actually.
Yeah, I think we've covered both of them for various Disney funds, but TLDR for the 3rd one. Yeah, there's a reason Triton doesn't like humans, and it's because a giant ship smushed his wife against the rocks.
Oh. Okay, yeah, I can kind of get that.
There's also the cartoon series, which was actually pretty decent.
That feels like it's pretty common with the Disney cartoon series of the time. I feel like most of them were decent to good. I don't know that there was any bad apples to that lot.
I'd have to rank them one of these days, but the top one for me will always be the Hercules series.
I should really go back and watch some of those in my free time, whenever I happen to find any of that.
Oh boy, here comes one of the most annoying bosses in all of Kingdom Hearts 1.
For real though, I remember playing this when I was younger, and I used to just swim away and have my party members take her out, and it would take like half an hour because they're so slow. There's not really much to this one. You can cast Stop on Ursula, and it works. She just doesn't get stopped for very long.
It's all about the lightning that makes this fight just kind of a chore, because it never stops coming. There is very rarely a case where you can just like sit and wail on her.
Right, yeah, there's these lightning strikes that come down. Later on, there's one where she fires it out of her mouth and it chases you, and it actually covers the screen so much it looks kind of terrible. That we'll see here in a moment. She's constantly like trying to draw you into her mouth. There's just too much in this fight. Here's the laser blast. It covers so much of the screen that it just looks bad.
Yeah, I like to refer to it as a hyper beam.
Yeah, it's definitely a hyper beam kind of thing. Fortunately, I'm at such a level where I'm doing pretty decent damage to her, so it's not going to take forever. If you actually save this world, she went a bit cross-eyed there for a second.
Oh, I saw her, yeah.
If you actually save this world until after you finish Neverland and get the Yellow Trinity from Olympus, you can actually pick up the second level of Arrow, which is actually extremely good on Ursula, and will help do a ton of damage. So definitely recommend that for anyone playing through KH1 casually. Just having second level Arrow helps so much here.
The difference between actually having Arrow and not having it on your first playthrough, or at least not utilizing it correctly, is absurd. I brought up Chernobog as an example, but this would probably be the other most infamous one.
Yeah, it's definitely nice. I think, again, I'm so over-leveled that I don't feel like I really need it in a lot of cases. And level 1 Arrow is really only for defense, and if you have enough magic to cure, you're probably better off doing that. But yeah, Arrow's like really good, and definitely recommend for anyone playing through KH1 their first time, experiment with Arrow, see what you can do with it.
She was crazy cross-eyed back there. I got like a screen cap of though.
Yeah, she gets really bad in the boss fight. I think that's something to do with the HD port. I feel like that didn't happen in the original, or I never paid attention to it, one or the other. But yeah, she gets really bad in some cases.
Drowning in your own farts. Not the best way to go. At least not one I'd want the history books to talk about.
Did you know, Tom, that originally the role of Ursula was written with B. Arthur in mind?
I can see that, yeah.
I don't think she was interested in the part, and so they went with Pat Carroll instead, and honestly, great choice. Nothing against B. Arthur, rest in peace, but I don't know that she's really known for her singing chops, as much as being a great actress, so I think Pat Carroll was a great choice for Ursula, both for, you know, the movie and bringing her back for this game as well.
Mm-hmm. Ah, I see, it was there all along.
Does Triton choose where the keyhole is, or did Ariel just get really lucky that she chose the place where it happened to be?
Look, alright, Nomura came along, he wrote his little script about a boy with a key, and Donald and Goofy are there. He's writing fucking Disney fanfiction. Do you think the original writers of The Little Mermaid had this in mind?
Well, of course not, but I'm sure Nomura had it in mind.
I'm going to be indignant on his behalf. That is my role, as it were, as the fool. This is a fun track to play, part of your world on a Melody of Memory. I still can't believe they put in, like, actual proper Disney songs.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. I would honestly say Part of Your World is my favorite song from the movie.
Uh-huh.
Full of bangers, to be honest. The OST of that one's great. Under the Sea, Kiss the Girl, all great tracks.
Kiss the Girl's okay. Not my favorite.
I think it's memorable more than it is good, maybe.
I won't call it bad, but yeah, it's an Alan Menken joint, and Lord knows he's done a few banger OSTs in his time. There we go. Another world successfully locked off from the rest of the populace.
Tell me, Sora.
Again, like, it's supposed to prevent the Heartless from getting back into the world, but once you leave and come back from the gummy menu, the Heartless are back, so, like, I guess it keeps them from getting to the heart of the world, at least.
Maybe I can.
Although it stops everyone else from leaving, which is a shame, because in about 40 years' time, in the Little Mermaid world, might want to look out for BP, that's all I'm saying, Ariel.
Right.
Sure of it.
It's sad that we can't help Ariel, like, actually learn about other worlds. It'd be great if we could, like, come back and bring her stories from all of Sora's adventures and stuff in a future game. I think that'd be really cool.
Oh, that would be great. Crab Claw, one of my favourite KH1 Keyblades. I don't know, the blue and the orange, it just works. Alright, y'all, we'll see you next time, where you may be getting a double helping of KH1, because Spa did a really short one. We'll see you then.